Hi, sweetheart. Here we go. Your first video. I hope you like my drawing. I didn't draw a very good picture of myself, but I tried. I get to see you tomorrow. And hi, Mom, if you're watching this. Hi, sweetheart. Sweetheart. Okay, let's get going. What I want you to do before you watch the rest of this video, Amber, is get your sheet of paper out that has all the problems on it. I have the email that you sent me, and I've got the problem numbers here and the problems that you typed up. So once you get to a point, though, be ready to hit the pause button. Once you get to a point where you know what to do, or you think you know what to do, pause it, and then finish doing the problem, and then you can play it and see if you got the same answer that I got. Okay? So be ready for that. Problem number one, you have this one ship, a submarine that travels south at a rate of 28 knots, and then the other one travels north at a rate of 22 knots. That's the ship leaving, so they're going in opposite directions. And so if you remember what we talked about, opposite directions means that remember that plus sign there? Opposite, and that means that the two distances that they travel are going to equal 125, and that's what it says. How many hours is it going to take the ships to be 125 nautical miles apart? Okay, and so you should automatically, let me back this up a little bit. You should automatically draw your chart and then see if you can fill out the chart. Maybe hit pause and see if you can fill it out. Okay, and let's see here. So I filled it out for you. 28 is how fast the sub is traveling, and 22 for the ship. They travel, it says they left at the same time, so they travel the same amount of time, and you know distances are the same, or sorry, distances, rate times time equals distance, so you can see how to fill that out. And if you add these two distances together, then you'll get 125. And so pause it, see if you can figure out the rest, and here you go. You should get 2.5 hours. Okay, let's go to number two. Number two, let's see, Mr. Jones leaves one place, and the same day some guy leaves 2 hours later. Okay, so I'm just going to assume that you didn't know how to fill out the chart for each one of these. And so here's the chart. I first put T for the sergeant and T plus 2 for Mr. Bond. Bond? Drove to Bond. Oh, it's Mr. Jones. Sorry. Sorry about that. That's Mr. Jones and the sergeant. So the Jones, he left at 10 a.m. and then he stopped at 3 p.m. And so we didn't really need the T plus 2 and the T because it actually gave us how long they were traveling. So we're trying to figure out how fast did the sergeant travel to catch up with him at the end of the 5 hours. And so this is the same direction problem. And a same direction problem means that the two distances are equal. So if you think about a picture of what this looks like, here's this guy, Mr. Jones, leaves, and Mr. Sergeant leaves 2 hours later, but eventually he catches up. So the distances are the same. Okay, so that's the way you should be thinking about it. And if the distances are the same, and you know the distances here, again, pause the video anytime you think you know how to do the rest, and really think through here. Why is that a 7 and why is that a 5? Okay, so think about that, and then I'm going to show you the answer here, so pause it if you don't want to see it. Okay, and there you go. The 5R equals the 350, and R equals 70 kilometers per hour, because R is a rate, it's a speed. And Jones was going 50 kilometers an hour, and so the R, sergeant, had to go 70 kilometers an hour in order to reach him at 3 o'clock. Okay, number 3, Captain Evans flew from Springfield to Capital City and back. So these 3 problems give us a good good examples of the opposite direction problem, which is number 1, the same direction problem, which was number 2, and the round trip, which was number 3. Okay, so he has a round trip, and again, I'm going to just try to show you the chart. So all of these are charts. Okay, and there's the chart. On his way there, he was traveling at a speed of 400 kilometers an hour, and on the way back, 600 kilometers an hour. This is probably the hardest part. Just let t be the amount of time that he spent going there, and then if he spent a total of 5 hours for the whole round trip, then this is the hard part, sweetheart. Okay, so 5 minus t would be the amount of time that he spent coming back. Let's think about what that means. Let's just say, and if you're having a hard time with that, let's just say he took 2 hours to get there. No, I'm sorry. Let's say he took 3 hours to get there. And if he took 3 hours to get there, 2, then on the way back, if it took 5 hours for the round trip, then if he already used 3 of those 5 hours, then he has to subtract 3 from 5 to get the 2. Okay? So if he took 4 hours to get there, then he has to subtract 4 from the 5 to get the 1. Because he already uses up 4 hours of the 5, and he's only got 1 left. 5 minus whatever he used, he's got that much left. And so if he used, let's say, 3.5 hours, then 5 minus 3.5 is going to give him 1.5 hours left. So it's always 5 minus whatever he used up going there. So if he used t, then he has 5 minus t hours left. Okay, so hopefully you understand that part, and now you can do the rest of the problem. So go ahead and pause it, and I'm going to show the answer here in just a moment, okay? So go ahead and pause it. This is fun talking to you like this. I don't usually get to talk to my students like this, obviously. Let me brighten this up a little bit for you. There we go. Okay, here we go. So there's 2 questions here. Number 1, let's see, what was that? Number 1 was, how long did the flight to capital city take? So the flight t equals 3 hours, and so 3 hours it took. But then the other part was, how far are the 2 cities apart? Well, how far one way would be either 400 times 3, which is the way I did it, that was the easier of the 2, 1,200 kilometers, or if you subtracted 3 from 5, you'd get 600 times 2, okay, which would be the distance coming back. So obviously the distance coming back, you could have done it 600 times 2 and got 1,200 as well. Obviously the distance coming back has to be the same as the distance there. Okay, so that's page 1. I'm going to stop this video and then pick you up in another video. Okay, I love you, sweetheart. I can't wait to see you.